Start off with the Pledge of Allegiance, if everyone would please stand. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And we can start off with the meeting minutes from the last meeting. I had some time to look at those and had a few questions, so unless anyone objects, I would like to hold off on that until our next meeting. Any discussions or conversation about that?
I have no problem doing it. If there's anything we can take care of right now or not.
No, because I need to have a look at that. So I'll have a look at that and we'll bring that up at our next regularly scheduled meeting.
So we're not going to be able to redo the minutes until after the next meeting if we do that.
Redo the meeting minutes?
Yeah. If you have an objection, we're not going to accept these. We have to redo the minutes to present at the next meeting, don't we?
I just want to verify a few things and I haven't had the opportunity
okay.
to do that. So.
Fair enough.
All right. Communications. I just wanted to give a reminder about a communication that we received at the last meeting. At our next meeting, which I believe is August 12th, Matt Kelly is coming at 5 p.m. to give a little presentation about property assessment updates, and the public is welcome to come and ask questions. So just a reminder that he will be here for that, for everybody's convenience. Any other communications?
Yes. For now on, we had fraud training where everybody needs to do the fraud training. So they sent us a paper that anybody that is hired in from here on out has to sign this paper and do the fraud training. We have that. And then our C&D license for alcohol and beverage will expire October 1st. Everybody. Yeah.
Any liquor license we have is in the township. So if we have any objections to any of those being automatically renewed, we need to voice our concerns about that to the state liquor board.
When is the date that that's?
October 1st.
October 1st.
And then we also have Larry Jenkins and Mike Collins. They gave us our engineer's report to do. So I copied each one. So you can pass it down to Ed and Laura, so you guys can see that, and they are here.
Yeah, Mr. Jenkins is here. If you'd like to speak now.
Whatever's convenient.
Well, it seems like a good segue.
Okay, I like it. Everyone, I'm Larry Jenkins, Portage County. Hi. Go ahead.
Can I
Raise your
say a brief avoid here?
Yes.
We have a big road project coming up. We've been talking about a lot of money, $350,000, $390,000. We've agreed to do it and everything. Mr. Jenkins, county engineer, and Mike are going to come and explain to us about that, how it works and all that kind of stuff. So thank you for coming down.
Absolutely. Like I said, I'm Larry Jenkins, the Portage County engineer. Thank you, Tiffany, for allowing us to have a few minutes. I apologize, we weren't on your agenda today. We kind of wanted to just come down here and congratulate the township on the award for Pewtown and Bandy Road. So that project was actually eligible for round 38 in the normal pool of funding, but the scoring, because it's so competitive throughout all the counties, it got scored just 3 or 4 places below the line. So what happened is the township decided you can resubmit your application along with an application to compete with other townships in the state, and you guys submitted to the small government fund. And at the small government fund, you're actually awarded the entire contract amount, which is at a 50% grant share. This used to be the issue 2 funds, if people from a while back have heard that, but now it's OPWC and it has been that way for a while. We just here to tell you that we're wanted to congratulate you. You competed with other townships within the state, and a 50% match for those 2 roads, in my opinion, is a great project, and we just encourage you to move forward with it. It is, like I said, it really scored well with other townships within the state. And Mike is going to step up here and talk about what, if you decide to move forward, what you actually have to do on legislatively to get the application up to where it needs to be and pass a resolution to get that happening. Okay? We're really excited because last year at this time, we put in the bids for the project, and shockingly, we're actually getting really good bid numbers. So we revised the engineer's estimate a little bit, and we hope that it comes in at a much better price for us. So we've actually lowered the engineer's estimate from $370 to around $350. So that will be a half share for the township if you decide to move forward. So I'd like to introduce Mike Collins. He's the project manager. He's the one that does all the work. You know? So come up and tell us how they're going, Mike. Thank you. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
As Mr. Jacobs was saying, small government is extremely difficult to get funding. With the OPWC, you compete from a district level, which is made up of about 4 counties. You competed against all the counties for small government. So it really is great. As Larry also mentioned, we were able to revise that estimate because we have real numbers from the bidding environment for 2024. So we have lowered that down to a little over $347,000, which divided by 2 would be the local share for Deerfield Township. Ed, as the project CEO of the project, has executed the OPWC agreement. I have a copy here for me, but I did forward digitals over for your file. And depending how the estimate comes in, it's a 50-50 rate up to the grant max. So say the bids, for some reason, come a little higher, you have some contingency money that will cover that up to the grant max. So it gives you a little extra, budget in mind just in case we need those dollars. At this point, we are now ready to bid the project out. I did propose some dates for you guys, totally up to when you want to bid it, but the dates that we're proposing in my email was June 26th and August 2nd. You have to bid for at least 2 weeks for the Ohio Revised Code, and then we would just do a bid opening at your August 12th meeting. You can do it right at 6 o'clock. That's up to you guys, up to discussion, but I would need a resolution passed by the trustees authorizing us to proceed with preparing the bid book, setting those advertisement dates, and then of course the bid opening itself.
June 26th is already passed.
I'm sorry, July 26th would be the first, which would be next round.
We've talked about this. We do have the finances available. We'll have to move some money around from some government funding we have left over. At this point in time, I'll make a motion that we ask county engineers to bid this project for Deerfield Township.
I will second that motion. It's a lot of money on our part, but we can't pass up your help, so I will agree, yes.
Laura?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Tiffany?
Yes.
Now that we have that resolution, we'll just get a copy from you, Tracy, put it in our file, and we prepare the bid book, everything. I'll get Tracy the legal ad for the paper. She'll just send it over to the paper by next Wednesday for Friday advertisement, and we'll see how the bids come in. With you guys authorizing that, the only cleanup I don't have to do with the OPWC grant itself is officially assign Tracy over from Christie. Because Christie was when we applied for it. We'll just have to get everything updated for Tracy. Ed, you're in, and then Tim is in as a project manager. So just a little cleanup paperwork on the OPWC application.
Just let us know what you need, and we'll make it happen. Thank you.
Perfect. Appreciate it.
Thank you, and thank you for coming.
Really good.
go. Once we open the bids and we pick the bid that we think is the best and lowest, you guys will look those over then to make sure there's nothing missing in that bid.
That's correct.
And then we have the option of picking a different one,
Yeah, there's something.
based on the fact that everything was not included or whatever like
Right,
that.
so generally, we will go with the lowest and best bid unless there's any
Omission of something
Then a
different.
recommendation will come from our office. You then will go to your prosecutor and make sure that they're totally on board with all of that. But I will give you a recommendation on who to award based on lowest and best.
Okay, all right. Okay.
Thank you.
Good? We're
Appreciate
gonna
that.
sneak out.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for allowing us to go so soon.
Happy to,
Appreciate it.
thank you. Okay.
I think we have something to sign up.
Well, since we're in communications, do we have any other communications?
I do.
Ed?
I have no more.
Okay, so we can move on to public commentary. Usually we have guest speakers first, but if we want to go ahead and do that, we can.
Do we have anyone that wanted to do, any residents that wanted to do public commentary? Now's the time.
Or they signed up on that little right in front of you.
Right in front of you. Okay, there we go.
There is an option to wait till after the meeting also.
Okay, so the first part of the meeting, I have Gary. Do you want to come up and talk?
I can just do it right here, but,
Okay.
the Brian Keller House issue. He's been on administrative leave for about 8 months now, and I really don't think people realize how vital he is to our community. And, I don't know if Chief Dean up there's got any numbers or anything that tells us just how much Brian contributes to our township. Do you have anything like that?
Well, I know I did records here just recently for the end-of-year report and everything. And, he worked every Wednesday night, 5 to 10, at the on station. And I believe it was an average of 15 callbacks per month.
Would you say he's one of our top contributors to the department?
Definitely.
And you'd like to get him back as soon as possible?
Absolutely. I'd like to get our department back to full strength where we need to be.
So how long will this go on until Brian gets back? When we need personnel as bad as we do?
We haven't decided that yet.
I'm sorry?
It hasn't been decided yet, Gary.
I mean, it just goes on forever. It's 8 months.
Since this is fire.
You guys go on about how bad we need people, and we've got a guy here that wants to do it. And he's being locked out.
We will take your comments into consideration. Okay. The next one is Larry Jenkins Jr. Is Larry here?
He just spoke. That's
Oh,
county
he's done.
engineer. County
And
engineer.
Mike Collins is not. Okay.
Yes.
Barb and Marge Connor.
That would be Bob.
Oh, is that Bob and Marge Connor? Okay.
I live,
Hold on one second. Let me reset the timer so you get your full
oh,
minutes.
okay. All right, tell me when.
Okay. hold
Go.
on. Go.
Okay. I have a prepared statement I'd like to read, and I will, so that it's for the record. And I will read this. As a longtime resident of Deerfield Township. I will turn around. How's that? No, I'll come over here. This doesn't count against my time. I can accept it.
Okay.
Thank you. As a longtime resident of Deerfield Township, I've been following the Deerfield harassment issues and feel compelled to express my concerns. Now, initially I consulted the Deerfield Township website and confirmed the next trustees meeting was noon today. When I arrived here at 11:45, no one was here. My husband and I called Trustee Tiffany Havens, who informed us the meeting had been moved to 6 p.m. The bill had not been paid, and that was the reason the website was incorrect. Even if a vote to change this meeting was proper, the failure to properly advertise the public meeting on the township's website is at best sloppy and at worst deceptive, and I'm not sure it complies with Ohio law. Turning to this harassment investigation, I am not taking a position on any claim here. That's for the investigators. What concerns me is the process. Based on my professional experience investigating hundreds of harassment claims, absent some extenuating circumstances, an investigation of this nature should not take 7 months to conclude. This is not only an unnecessary delay, it is disruptive to the departments, unfair to the person being investigated, and runs the risk of evidence tainting or evidence loss. This investigating, again, without unusual circumstances, should not have taken more than a month or so at the most, and should have cost a fraction of what it has cost the township residents. Also, in that this is a legal matter, I am curious why the complaint was not submitted to the township's legal counsel to manage and coordinate with the township's insurance company. It's troubling that we as taxpayers have paid over almost $12,000 to the investigator, particularly when I just learned the township is not paying its website bills. And that was not corrected until after the meeting time today. So it was not corrected until afternoon today. Now, concerning the investigation, again, I don't have any personal knowledge. I have a lot of institutional knowledge. But if any trustee was a witness, gave testimony during the investigation, or had any other evidentiary involvement, that trustee should not be involved in determining the fate of the person who was investigated, including voting on any issue related to this investigation. Now, and I also understand from looking at meeting notes that a sexual harassment complaint has been filed against Trustee Havens. Again, no dog in this fight. I don't know what happened. Not my business. Well, it is my business ultimately as a concerned citizen. But if that's the case, this trustee should not be involved in determining her fate, because she's now involved. I believe the trustee should follow the same rules imposed on the other person who was accused of improper conduct, i.e., the same rules should apply to all township personnel. What is fair for one should be fair for all.
I'm sorry, you're 3 minutes.
Whether an
I
appointed...
yield my time to Marge.
Thank you. Thank you, Bob. Whether an appointed employee or elected official of the township, Trustee Havens should not be involved in any matter in this new investigation and should recuse herself from any activities in the investigation, including selecting the investigator, having any contact with any of the departments or potential witnesses, being involved in any discussions, and certainly should have no vote in what happens. I would ask the Trustee Havens, who has been accused of this improper conduct, again, not passing judgment, but I believe it's important that she commit to following the same procedures she has imposed on others, confirm she will not be involved in any aspect of the investigation, will cooperate with the investigator, and will have no contact with any parties or departments involved during the pendency of the investigation, and will not vote or participate in any discussion regarding this matter. And I thank you for your time.
That concludes the public commentary.
I have a question for our fiscal officer. You made a statement that our website bill was not paid.
I made the statement that we were told by Trustee Havens when we called today at 11:45 a.m. that the reason the website had not been updated was because the bill was not paid.
I don't know if that's true or not. I'm
It
asking,
is.
is that true?
We had a GoDaddy bill that wasn't paid. I came in and let Nancy know and helped her go online and fix it so we could start updating the page. It had been down for several weeks.
It was fixed immediately.
So it had been down for several weeks,
And
or?
just,
there's
Not
no
that we,
doubt-
not that we know
aware
of, because GoDaddy came in, and Christie, that's one thing that Christie did, and we didn't know. We printed it out, and Christie came in that night because she was gonna get on and help us, do the GoDaddy, and Nancy had already had it fixed by that time, and that was, what, a week ago? It wasn't this week, it was, yes.
I knew it was down, but I thought
Yeah,
it was
but it
fixed
was
within
down,
24 hours. I didn't
yes,
know
it
it was
was
down
down.
several
And
sites.
we have a community calendar on the website that lists community events. The township meetings are on there. However, on our organizational meeting in January, that's when all of the meeting times are voted on. And we did make an amendment to that on June 24th in a public meeting, and the time has been on the billboard for the last 2 weeks. So that calendar is for convenience of community events. It's not strictly for township functions, it's for historical society, civic association, anybody who asks to be on it. So, yes, there was a delay in getting that fixed. It's been fixed and updated, and I thank you for bringing it to our attention.
But you're welcome for that, but I'm still concerned because this is a public body and has a responsibility to its constituents, i.e. the residents of Deerfield Township, to have accurate information. And I'm frankly not sure if it complies with Ohio statutes with regard to meeting notification. You have a public document that is authorized by the township. It is the township's website, for heaven's sakes. And if you can't get that right, I question what else is going on.
And we're not in charge. We're not in charge of the website. Nancy and I do not do the website. We pay the bill.
Who's in charge of the website?
I'm the one who updates the website. So, and this is this is not a special meeting. We do have to go through some special circumstances when we have a special meeting about advertisement. We do have to announce them in our meetings, but there's no other legal things that say our calendar on our website have to be updated.
I believe there are, I'm not going to quote because I don't have it in front of me. I believe there are requirements with regard to Ohio statutes regarding prior notice of meetings.
Well, I could show you after the meeting. if you'd
Oh,
like.
that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
My point here is, I showed up because your website was incorrect, and apparently has been incorrect for a while. I took time off away from my job to come here, and all I get is, oh, it's wrong, sorry. I don't appreciate it as a township resident, that flippant attitude, that, well, it's wrong and you should have found out some other way. Update your website or take it off your website.
I think we should not have a website. I think everybody should write by the sign
Well,
and
we
find out.
give you all the commentary time, and I appreciate your comments.
You're welcome.
Any other communication, Laura? No. We do have a guest speaker here today, Attorney Greg Beck. He is from Otarma, and he has been helping us deal with our hearings and investigations. So he's here to speak with us all today and give us an update of what is going on.
Good evening, everyone. I don't really work for Otarma. Otarma is the Ohio Township Association Risk Management Authority. It is the risk pool that provides liability protection to the township if they're sued for any reason. And if Deerfield Township were to be sued for any reason, Otarma would ask my law firm in North Canton to represent the township. So that's my involvement. But I think if your comments, because a lot of the things that you said are actually the reason I'm here. There are two things I wanted to bring before the board's attention, and they both have to do with these discrimination claims. There's two pending. One is against Mr. Kellerhouse, and there was a question with respect to the delay. One of the reasons there was a delay was I handed Mr. Kellerhouse in front of all of you a notice. Under Ohio law, if you're a firefighter or police officer, safety forces, And there is a claim against you with respect to how you may be disciplined. And you're not in a union, there's a process. And the process is that there needs to be an investigation, which there was. I arranged for an outside investigator, someone who had no affiliation whatsoever with Portage County. And she was a lawyer, labor lawyer, and she did the investigation. That investigation revealed that there are certain issues with respect to Mr. Kellerhouse's conduct that need to be reviewed by the board to determine if discipline is appropriate. I'm taking no position with respect to whether there is discipline necessary. The next step is to do exactly what I just did, was to serve Mr. Kellerhouse with a notice of that. And now that he has the notice, at the next scheduled board meeting, he is entitled to a hearing where he will be presented with charges against him, and he can present any evidence he wants. And I will present the evidence against him. I'm not a prosecutor, I'm simply presenting it so that he has an opportunity to respond. And then it's up to the board to make its decision, and the majority of the board will make a decision as to whether there should be discipline, what is the discipline, and then if Mr. Kellerhouse doesn't like that outcome, he has a remedy through the appellate process. That's number one. And so that will happen. And Mr. Kellerhouse, however, if he chooses, can ask for a delay from the next meeting to the subsequent meeting, if he wants that. That's up to him. But if he doesn't exercise that choice at the next scheduled meeting, there will literally be a public hearing, which you're all entitled to attend, and information will be presented with respect to that. That's number one. So the board, I'm asking you, I'm suggesting to the board that the motion be made that the next scheduled meeting, hearing be held against Mr. Kellerhouse, because now he's actually received the notice. And that notice was sent to him by certified mail, which he never picked up. It was also sent by regular mail. It was also asked by council officials to actually serve it upon him, and he refused to do it, so we had to kind of go through this process. That's number one. Number two, there is a claim against Trustee Havens. And like you, I'm making the same recommendation. I recommend that the board enter into a resolution that asks that an outside investigator be retained to do the same thing that we did with Mr. Kellerhouse, which is essentially have an outside person. Again, somebody not in Portage County, someone that knows nobody, that will just come in and do that investigation, and I can help coordinate that if you want, or you find somebody to do that. And the idea there is these are designed to be efficient and quick. There was a reason, I won't get into, that Mr. Kellerhouse's investigation took as long as it did, but that's a secondary issue. It normally is fast. It should be fast. I usually, when I'm done within 3 weeks tops, usually it's faster than that. So that's my recommendation, that there be a second motion made by the board to retain an outside investigator to investigate.
Attorney Beck?
Yes.
I have also spoken to Assistant Prosecutor Maduri, and he recommended the same plan of action because we've set a precedent. The last board agreed to approach the investigation like it's going on, with an outside investigator, someone outside the county. We've done that. And I also spoke to the Sheriff's Department. The business office of the Sheriff's Department told me they don't do outside independent investigations, that they do investigations within their own department, criminal charges in their own department. So after speaking to Assistant Prosecutor Maduri, he recommended that to avoid litigation and liability, we approach this harassment claim like we did the last one. And he recommended you highly.
Thank you. I recommend it on it. Doesn't really matter. And by the way, the reason that you retain an outside investigator, and preferably it is a lawyer, is because that lawyer then reports to me, and that is a confidential communication. In other words, privileged. And why is that important? Well, these reports might have some information that could be damaging to someone, or allegations could be made, and you want to keep that private. You don't want to make that a public record unless it's necessary. And so if there are allegations against Mr. Kilmerhouse, for instance, I don't want that out in the public unless it's absolutely necessary. So we protected all that. That's why you have a lawyer that does the investigation, so that, because the worst thing that can happen is that somebody makes these allegations, they become public and they're not true. And then you've harmed someone's reputation and so forth, and that's what you're trying to avoid. So that's the idea behind having an outside investigator, preferably a lawyer, who then reports to another lawyer, that creates this initial confidentiality that you're trying to protect everyone's reputation and stuff. So those are the things I have. Any other question?
Well, I move that we.
I have a comment before we do that. You said we set a precedent by doing this. We set a precedent also by immediately suspending him from any involvement with his job. Is that also setting a precedent, since it's one of the trustees involved? Fair is fair. He was immediately suspended. I'm just asking. The second thing I'd like to comment on is the sheriff department.
No, because
I contacted the major from the Portage County Sheriff Department, told the circumstances, he checked with the sheriff. They have all the information. They say since this involves an elected official, they can, will, and are doing an investigation as we sit here and speak. A detective interviewed 2 of the people involved that I know of today. And he's going to contact you, and he's going to contact another witness.
How is an investigation being conducted without board approval? That's my question.
It's a public matter. It was announced at a public meeting that those charges were filed. Since it involved an elected official, they feel that they have every right and authority to come in and conduct that investigation.
I did have a conversation with one of the captains of the sheriff's department today, and he said that he was given a request from Ed Dean to do an investigation on the matter, an internal investigation. And I told him that we were having a board meeting this evening to discuss how that investigation was to move forward, and that I would speak with them after that.
Okay, let me comment on that also. My initial contact with the sheriff department was, what do I, as a board member, do to move forward with this? This is a very serious situation. They thought about it, they called me back, and that's where it came, that they wanted to do the investigation. I didn't go to them and ask them to do it. I said, what do I do? Which route do I go here? Buddy Myers got a letter from Ohio Attorney General recommending him to contact the local sheriff department in the jurisdiction where this happened. And he provided that letter to the detective.
Well, let me answer your first question. On the administrative leave issue and employment issue, the reason that you do that is you're trying to separate the person that is allegedly engaged in harassing conduct from the person that might be in charge. When you're an elected official, it's a lot different, and all that Trustee Havens has to do is just avoid contact with the person or stay away from the township, and that's what the issue. You're just trying to protect. You're just trying to protect it. That's it. So it's not a precedent. That's what you're doing. With respect to using the sheriff's department, again, I think it should be a board decision, but 2, what you have to look at is the objectivity of it. Not that they would be biased in any way, but when you bring in someone from the outside, it becomes clearly reliable. But, that's a board decision.
Yeah, right.
The board can make the decision as to whether or not you want to use the sheriff's department or you want to bring in an outside investigator. It doesn't matter to me either way.
And I was told by the sheriff's department today.
Why would you want to have somebody from your office when somebody in our county can do the same thing? And you're charged for them people.
Well, I'm not doing the investigation.
Oh, no, you're just charging the poor township thousands of dollars to get where you've got nowhere. That's what I'm saying.
I'm sorry, and I agree with you. This should be an objective investigation. No one involved should be involved. As you know, as I know as attorney, have done labor law for 30 years.
You know that.
I know how this goes.
Right.
However, what concerns me, your statement that it should be objective, the investigator should be reporting only to you to keep it objective.
No. Keep it confidential.
Keep it confidential. Excuse me. Keep it confidential. Attorney client, all that stuff. What concerns me is according to public documents, there were numerous conversations between the investigator that, and I don't know if the investigator was hired by you or by the trustees. But what I see is numerous communications by the investigator with Trustee Havens over the course of this investigation. Now, if those were not because she was a witness, which means she's involved and should recuse herself, if she's getting updates on that investigation, then that's public. And that destroys your attorney-client privilege.
Well,
In one respect, if she's having
well,
an
I
ex parte.
don't want to debate you on that.
I'm sorry?
I don't want to debate you on that. I'm just saying.
I understand. This is why, from a process standpoint, I'm very concerned about what went on here and what's going on. And going forward, this needs to be absolutely above board. But when I see a 2-hour conversation involving Ms. Havens and another 40-minute conversation in the public records, I become concerned that it's not 100% objective. Again, I don't know the players, I don't know why that would happen, but sir, we've both done investigations, and the last person you talked to, you want to keep it confidential, you don't have ex parte conversations.
Again, I'm not going to debate you on
And
that, because I didn't investigate.
Just making a.
I have the investigator's report. I've
Okay.
spoken directly to the investigator. And that's why,
You know who the investigator talked to? Or,
oh no, I turn them loose. They know what they're doing. You've done it, I've done it.
I have done it,
Right.
many times.
Same. So, I agree. But those are my recommendations with respect to Mr. Kilderhouse, and then also with Trustee Havens. The board can make that decision with respect to the investigation, who's going to do the investigation.
If we would go with the outside investigator that you would handle, can it be someone other than the last
Sure,
person that
right,
did the
okay.
investigation?
Right.
Just because of the time. I realize it was more elaborate investigation and it was more time consuming, is my understanding.
Again, I don't want to go into, there was a
Right.
reason in this project, I don't want to go into that.
Okay. Well, I move that we have an outside investigation, someone out of Portage County, and that Attorney Beck choose someone that can get this done.
So is she still to show up at township meetings and events and things like that?
Sure. I mean, yes.
Why is that when the last 2 people were not allowed to? We're told not to. We're asked not to.
Yeah, why can't Brian participate in the fire department?
Just set a precedence, the way they handled the last one. Why would this one be any different?
Well, in the employment world, you're trying to create what we call remedial action. If someone is creating a problem for another person in the workplace, the remedial action is to separate them, which is why you have this administrative process with people that work together. But when you have an elected official who's not interacting on a day-to-day basis with the person that's making the complaint, that's a whole different issue. And again, I don't think it sets a precedent, but that's just my opinion. And you can disagree all you want, but
I don't, thank you, appreciate it.
And at our last meeting, I did recuse myself from anything to do with the garage or that investigation.
Thank you.
I have a motion on the floor. That we hire an outside investigator out of Portage County, fair and impartial, and we let Attorney Beck choose someone to do so, to investigate Trustee Havens. I have a motion on the floor.
It's already been 3 months. This man has been investigating $15,000 later, and we still haven't got a determination.
Normally, I would second your motion, however, I won't, since the sheriff department is conducting an investigation. I think that will be extremely impartial. They're going to do it for nothing but the facts and everything, and I don't understand why we need to go out of the county when our major sheriff department and the sheriff himself said, yeah, this investigation we should do, and they're conducting it. I see no reason that we have to hire someone when they're capable of knowing it. These guys investigate murders on a regular basis and everything. I won't second the motion.
Does the sheriff's department charge for that?
No, they do not charge.
Well, that's a no-brainer.
Only problem with the sheriff's department is that they depend on their job from votes. And I don't think that somebody who can be, swayed by votes should be investigated. No, that's the way it is, though.
Well, let's put it this way, the fire department's going broke because of this bullshit that's going on. $15,000 out of the fire fund, and these people come November are going to see this levy, and it's not gonna pass. I'm telling you that right now, I've been in the township for 50 frickin' years.
And we can add you to the commentary if you'd like to speak later.
Yeah.
Another one coming up.
And I have to recuse myself from this vote since it is regarding an investigation against myself. So I will abstain.
Well, I feel that we should follow the advice of our legal counsel and the advice of the assistant attorney, Chris Maduri, our assistant prosecutor. He highly recommends Attorney Beck and felt that it should be done out of county.
Keep in mind that if you use the sheriff's department, that's fine, but that, once that investigation is done, that becomes a public record. So again, if there's something in that report that is damaging to anybody.
We're not interested we're interested in the truth.
So am I.
That's a secondary concern.
As a compromise, and Attorney General, you weigh in on this, could not your legal counsel, prosecutor, investigate?
Again.
That would be a no charge.
To be swayed.
That's an attorney, still have attorney-client privilege. I don't know what that does from the insurance.
Are you meaning him or are you meaning someone from the prosecutor's office?
I'm suggesting that the trustees turn this over to the prosecutor, their legal counsel, which is the prosecutor, as a compromise.
And then I wouldn't necessarily have to be involved other than if the township wanted to go forward with charges against Trustee Havens, then I would again present those.
And presumably you would work with the township legal counsel.
Correct.
To coordinate what needs to be coordinated from the insurance side.
Right. Well, insurance is not really involved.
Well, or how it goes.
Yeah.
You would coordinate as necessary.
Right.
I'm just offering that as a comment. In addition to, and I'm not saying don't let the sheriff's investigate, but
On that thought, the sheriff said he will immediately turn that report over to the prosecutor.
I'm sorry?
The sheriff department said they will immediately turn their report over to the prosecutor
Okay.
for review, so.
Then in that case, would that not be covered by the attorney-client privilege? And not be?
I would think so.
And not be public? If the sheriffs do their investigation through your legal counsel's office, I would suggest that should be covered under attorney-client privilege and not public if that's the big concern.
Yeah, they told me they will not release that to anybody but the prosecutor's office, is what they
That's
said.
you're working through your legal counsel. Just a suggestion.
Ed, you seem to be all over this. Why weren't you all over the first investigation? Why didn't you push
I
that
didn't
through
hear
the
it,
sheriff's?
Chris.
Why didn't you push the first investigation through the sheriff's department as quickly as you are this one? You're awful worried about speed and quickness right now.
As an afterthought, I wish we would.
I think we all know where this is going to circle
As an
around.
afterthought, I wish
all
we would.
of it.
If we were advised to hire an outside investigator, we did.
Just like you're being advised right now.
$15,000 later, 8 or 9 months, yeah, we're still not
So
there.
is this
We're close.
investigation not as important?
So it's okay for somebody to come in here and make an accusation against you? And you don't want to spend money to defend you?
I feel
We can do this every day. You can get a registered letter in the mail every single day.
Will the sheriff's investigator know people in this room? Do you know?
I have no idea.
Yes, they do.
The only recommendations so far have been by Ed Dean, who's behind it all.
And when I spoke to the captain today, he said they typically don't get involved in these cases, and that if we wanted to choose an outside agent, they would be very comfortable with that, is what I was told by the captain today.
I was told by Assistant Prosecutor Maduri that they do not do outside investigations. And when I called the sheriff's office, the business office, the lady said, no, we don't do that. Well, I have a motion on the floor.
How's this gonna work if you each vote different? We're not gonna get anywhere.
Why are we handling one complaint completely different than the next complaint? That's my question.
One, because the second complaint's against a public official, which changes things.
Well, let me just say this, I like your recommendation. My suggestion would be, because we're at a deadlock here, and I want to move this forward. If the sheriff's department is willing to do the investigation and report to the prosecutor, and I know that they'll do their best, even though they know someone, I think we should follow that, because what I don't want this to be is deadlocked. I'm going to get nowhere.
Could you please tell me
Because your motion's not good.
Yeah, I know that.
which, you're from Stark County, right?
I am.
Okay, where would your investigators be coming out of? Wayne, where else?
Some-
Out of
some-
Wayne County,
Some are Stark,
how far south?
some that are Stark County, I'd say.
I know. Well, I disagree on them coming out of Wayne.
We elected these people for a reason. Do we really want every single time that somebody doesn't get their way, them to bring their person in to threaten lawsuits or to have somebody make ridiculous allegations and all of that stuff? Is that how we really want things to be run?
That's how this all started. Somebody didn't get the chief they wanted.
That's exactly right.
That's how all this stuff started, every bit of it. It's all one big vendetta.
You're going back to something weird.
My only question is, you handed Mr. Kelderhouse his notice today. So does that mean his whole process starts from ground zero again today?
Oh,
On
yes.
top of the 7 or 8 months that's already passed?
Well, you can't use yours.
That means
And your investigation.
is the hearing. This notice has been, they've been trying to serve this notice on the 15th.
I understood that from your comments, but my concern is, are we gonna go another 3 or 4 months on top of this now?
No.
We'll have 50,000 to 60,000.
I thought we were supposed to have a public hearing a month or so ago. We were.
Where did that go?
That would have been ideal. But it didn't work out.
You said you didn't want to share what the delay was about. Could you share it? It seems pretty important of why it was pushed along so long.
In the last month, it's because we were not able to properly serve Mr. Kelderhouse.
The last month isn't half of it. It's been
Right.
8 months. So
Eight
can you
months.
share with us a little bit about what the last 8 months has been over?
No, you won't.
At this point, that's lost. I mean, that's
The only thing I
water
can say
under
is
the
that
bridge.
there was a forensic
No,
component
it's
to this
legal.
that had to be evaluated. And whether or not the township should spend additional money for a forensic analysis. And so that was part of the issue. And they did, which was nice, which was good. That's my
Well, Ed, you made this decision, we were supposed to come to the board and decide tonight on what to do, and you just went ahead and did it without it coming to the board.
And this was a legal matter, it was not hiring an outside investigator. This is our county sheriff department, which said they would like to investigate this. It's a charge, a serious charge against a public official. We just all took fraud training and everything, and that's one of the things in there, fraud training. If you know something and don't present it, don't bring it forward, then you're at fault too. We all just had fraud training.
I think it should be by motion, I'm going to motion. Yeah, that you do the investigation and report to prosecutor.
To Assistant Prosecutor Maduri.
Yes.
Okay. You also recommended that the investigation be done out of the county.
I get it, but I mean, I'm not challenging or questioning any, I think the sheriff's department will do a fine job, I think they know what they're doing.
And I would certainly need to speak with my counsel before I progress with anything.
That's what I'm, just so we can move this, we don't want any more delay. I respect the fact that there's delay, let's just move forward.
Okay. I will make a motion that we continue to allow the Sheriff's Department to do the investigation, and they report directly to Assistant Prosecutor Maduri.
What if he gives it right to the prosecutor himself and not Chris Maduri? What if he gives it directly to Victor Viglici? I'm okay with your motion as long as it goes to the prosecutor's office and not a specific guy in there. It opens up a can of worms if he gives it to Brett or someone else.
Ed, when you call, you always talk to Assistant Prosecutor Maduri. He's been
No.
following this all along.
I talked to Brett. He is our attorney. He was off on leave. I'm okay with your motion as long as they present it to the prosecutor's office. Whoever the prosecutor gets it, I'm okay with it.
That's fine.
I'll second that
Is
motion
fine?
then.
And I will abstain.
Lauren?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Tiffany?
Abstain.
You guys make a motion.
No.
Do we need a motion about Mr. Kelderhouse's hearing at the next meeting, or is that matter settled?
I realized at the last meeting of the month.
I would just make a motion, I mean, it's actually a matter of law, but go ahead and make a motion that the hearing take place at the next scheduled meeting unless Mr. Kelderhouse requests to be extended.
He just requested.
I requested we move to the end of the month.
Okay, that's fine.
Hey, Brian, do you met with this gentleman?
I didn't meet with him.
Who out of your firm talked to this gentleman? Bullshit! It's costing the fire department a bunch of money. What is that?
You talking about what you come up?
Yeah, well, who investigated him?
So our next regular meeting in August would be August
Bullshit, Chuck.
26th
You know
at 6
that.
p.m.
Yeah, you don't care.
Can we maintain some decor? Thank you very
Mr.
much.
Kelderhouse, our next routine meeting that's in the end of August would be August 26th at 6 p.m. Would that be acceptable to you?
That's the second meeting of the month, correct?
Correct. At 6 p.m.
Unless my legal counsel says otherwise.
It's fair? So I'll make a motion that we have the hearing for Mr. Calderos's request, August 26th at our regularly scheduled meeting at 6 p.m.
I second it.
I'll vote yes.
Laura?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Tiffany?
Yes. Anything else, Attorney Beck?
No.
Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to department updates, road department maintenance.
The last week, we replaced a culvert down on Town Road. That's one of the roads that's going to be paved. It was, turned out being an all-day project. John helped on it. Pretty deep down there. Turned out nice and everything. So that's been done. They're going to spread some asphalt, some low spots in there to get ready for the paving project. They're actively moving forward that. They're continuing to do roadside mowing as allows. We are using a chase truck per se. John's been driving that for us because we are short of help a little bit. So John's been volunteering to run behind there with the flashers and everything for safety. I hope you continue to do that, John.
We're doing Burns Wall at the church.
Right now, we don't need to order any stone or anything, so I really don't have much more on the road department.
All right. Laura, do you have anything for roads? No, I don't either. All right, buildings and grounds. Where are we with the trail cams? Last last I heard we had ordered them and they were
Okay,
installed.
we do have them, they're down to garage. I wanted to bring something up before. Christie sent us cameras that they installed at their property that work off of Bluetooth rather than trail cams. Trail cams are gonna be pretty easy to steal and everything. We still have them, we can still put them up. These other cameras, I think she said they're like $130 a piece, but she sent us pictures of things that were showing up in their cameras. They're crystal clear, they're easy to see and everything. I just wonder if you guys wanted to reconsider the trail cams. We still have them, that's why I haven't put up, because that was brought to my attention after we bought trail cams.
You have to have Wi-Fi for that.
She said it's like $5 is what she
Yeah.
has that's connected to that.
Yeah, each camera has a program basically. I'm okay
But
with.
we already have the trail cams?
Yeah, they're down the garage, still in the box down there. I'm okay with trying them, I'm just figuring they're gonna get removed from our cemetery, but I don't know. They were what, $109 for 3 of them, something like that. If you guys
Are
want
they
to try them.
returnable?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
We haven't even,
Yeah, we
we haven't
can
even,
return them now, but-
charged the township yet for it, haven't put anything
Yeah.
down, so it's a matter of taking them back with a receipt.
I mean, typically with other types of cameras, you have to have Wi-Fi, so that would just be my question of how it works without it, but I'm open to the idea.
And I can find more out about it. That's the only reason we didn't put them up, because I looked into that a little bit more, and that's what I found after I said we had them before this meeting, so. If you guys want to try the trail cams, I can have them put them up tomorrow. If you want to look into other cameras in addition to those, we can always do that too.
What happens if somebody steals the SD card? The Wi-Fi ones that are Wi-Fi, they send the recording straight to wherever.
Yeah, it just goes straight to your
Connected to.
computer or.
But if somebody steals the SD card out of the other ones, then you literally have no recording of anything.
Yeah, with the trail cams, we'd have to physically go down and look and see if we got broke into or something stolen, we'd automatically go to them. The other ones will have, if I understand it correctly, they record and they will send it to township computer, wherever we want to send to, all the time. Just something I looked into. I'm okay either way or both ways. I'm just concerned about the cemetery since we did that one break-in already.
Let's start the ones we have now.
Okay.
Trail cam.
We already approved them, or we do have them. I will have to put them up. We'll get them up tomorrow.
See how they work out.
Okay, I'm good with that. We'll get them up tomorrow.
I'm usually patrolling, watching for activity. I call every time I see it, but I'm not always there to see it, so.
All right, we'll get them put up next day or two.
All right, anything else for buildings and grounds?
Cemetery included.
Cemetery included.
We've had several funerals, but the last week we've had 3. Mary Engladu, long time Deerfield resident, passed away, and we buried her, and a couple of cremations that have been done for a while. We got that done. So, a lot of burials. One thing we do have to look into I haven't checked Archery yet, but at Deerfield, we got some huge, big old nice trees. While we were digging Mary Engladu, I looked at there's 2 or 3 big limbs hanging out over top that are totally dead. And it's a huge liability to the township if one of them would come down and hurt someone. So we're gonna have to look into getting a tree company to come in and cut the dead out of those trees or something here in the very near future.
I recommend Rainland. They're right north of them.
Yeah, they've done work for the
Who
township
did we
before.
use last time?
That
They
same
did-
one she's talking
they
about.
did a nice job.
They did the tree up at the old town hall up there and everything.
And
That's
they're
who did that.
reasonable, and they clean
I
everything up.
can give them a call and get a price off them, and I can bring it up back up at the next meeting again.
Yeah,
What they were
yeah,
charged to do it. Yeah, they live right in North Bend. They have done work for the township, so.
Or if anybody else wants to submit a quote for that as well, we would be open to receiving other quotes too.
That's all I have.
All right. Anything else, buildings and grounds, Laura? All right, so fire department. I have something, and when I spoke to Chief Dean yesterday, I think he was a step ahead of me. At the last meeting, we did have some concerns that were voiced about some policies and procedures, and policy manuals are a working document that always need to be updated, reviewed, and I wanted to make a proposal to have a committee, and I'll share my proposal with everyone. I'm going to pass those down. But I think Chief Dean had already started one, so I wanted to ask you a little bit about what you had in mind.
After the last meeting, we contacted a few members. We were discussing to have a 5-person, so it's an odd number.
I was suggesting 3 to 5, so.
4 fire members, 1 private citizen. We have come up with a group that we feel that will do good. They said that they can be here in the next couple of weeks and get things moving. And then after they get done with their policy, their recommendation for changes, they would send it to me, and then I would forward it to you guys for your review.
Which is almost exactly what I had in mind, so. Do you have any kind of setup where people who maybe aren't on the committee can still put forth questions or concerns about any of the policies?
They can get a hold of any of the members that was on. And the current members that we have on is Todd Bardelli, Brian Allison, Assistant Chief Day, Timmy Suderman, and the outside private guy is Sean. And he's a township resident, but he's a career firefighter, so he knows policy and procedures.
Is he from Deerfield?
Yes. Lives out Yale Road. He works for Jackson, he's a captain on Jackson Fire, and also works for, like, assistant chief at the refinery. So he's used to policy and procedures. So I figured his input would be really beneficial to us for what the other departments do. And that group could meet, get with us, and then once they meet, then I'll pass it on to trustees for you guys to review and revision, and we need to take it back to them when we can.
Okay, very good. You know, the situation was just that we had some concerns about that, and my outcome goal was the intended outcome of this proposal is continual improvement of our Deerfield Fire Department policy and procedure manual using collaboration of members and leaders through shared autonomy and teamwork. So my process and my proposal, which is almost identical to yours, was to have the group get together and then bring the suggestions to you and the leaders of the fire department, and then you would make a final suggestion to the board with an updated manual. What do you think about getting the manual put on to a link so it can be like continually updated and accessible to everyone?
I think that would be an excellent idea.
Because sometimes I'm looking through old manuals and I'm like, wait, is this the latest updated one? And what do you think about maybe putting a link on the fire department site or the township site?
Yeah, I think that would be fine.
That way everybody has a copy too. And then I know I had already seen some of them come across the fraud training from the fire department. All the members can scan it on their phones. It takes 7 minutes, and then you would send the certificate to either the chief or Derek, and then it goes to Nancy, or you can send it directly to Nancy and Tracy at the Deerfield website. Have you guys been getting more of those rolling in?
We got Derek's.
The way it's set
Derek sent his to me, and then I forwarded it to you.
The way it's set up right now is they send them to our email.
Okay.
That way we keep track on who's.
You can check them off
Check
your
them off.
list.
We have 9 so far that has taken them, and then I forward them to Deerfield Township.
Especially if maybe you can hang that flyer on the wall or get them at the meeting.
Tag at the station.
But I think that's until the end of September.
Yeah, they have time.
But hopefully we're not waiting until the end of September. It literally takes 7-8 minutes. You can do it right on your smartphone.
But they need to send them separately to their email and then email them to you, because if they send them to you, they don't get a copy of the certificate, then you have to keep track of it on a piece of paper.
Correct. Yeah, the way that it's all whole written out page, that they know
Yes.
to send it to that their certificate.
Yes.
That way it's all checks and balances.
Yes, thank you.
And then at the last meeting, we did have a resignation. Did you happen to have a copy of that?
Actually, it's in my box at the station. So
Could you maybe just email or
yeah,
send
I'll
it
scan
to
it
us?
in.
We had Claire and Barb's resignation. And then I'll give you the floor here in just a moment. I did speak with Derek briefly about a grant from 2021 where he was looking at getting a new piece of equipment. He didn't have a lot of details to me about that. Can you shed any light on that?
Yes, it's called a RAM. It's for auto extrication. He has secured a grant for that. And I believe that he said that it was ordered. So it should be here towards the end of September, I believe. That's what it
Okay, everything with FEMA grant still on course?
He said he's right up here. He's still having some difficulty with the grant writing people, not getting back to them in a timely manner. He has spoken with them the other day, 3 or 4 times the same day.
Oh, well, that's progress.
Yeah, so that's looking a little better.
Okay, and then there was a concern brought up at the last meeting about the process for approval for like training money, requesting training. I had a suggestion about that is maybe we fill out or create a very simple form that way people can apply, and then have a small section at the bottom where you can approve, disapprove, and give them that information and then let us review that. Would you be on board to doing something like that?
Yeah,
Would you like to create a form? Would you like me to help with that? I can, whatever is easiest for you.
yeah, I can do that.
Maybe just to streamline that process a little bit more so people know how to apply for it, and maybe we can just put them out at the station. And then I know you've got an update for us, so I'll turn the floor over to you. But if you need help with the form, just let me know. I could probably whip something up.
We already discussed the policy, so the last thing I have is we need some equipment. Our pulse ox in our main squad is 9 years old now. The other day, yesterday, we tried to use it, it would not work. So we buy most of our equipment from Boundary Medical. I did price them, and they are $699.99 for the pulse ox.
Is that something that you're like plugging into a larger monitor?
No, this is one we take into the house, and it's its own little, you see the picture of it.
It's a standalone.
Standalone.
Use it for like COPD patients.
So we know what they're.
So I mean, because we can get small portable, I don't know if that's adequate for what you need. I mean, that's what we would use at the hospital even as a small, like respiratory, I mean, would that be adequate? Because that would be much more cost effective unless this does something more that you need that.
No, that's just what we've always had on the squad.
Okay. I mean, I could order pulse oxes from McKesson, the small portable ones, for very cost effective. This seems expensive. If we could just use the portable ones, I'm just making a suggestion. If you tell me this is what you need, then we can do it, but.
Well, I priced that because that's what we've always had.
Any feedback from the fire department about the pulse ox equipment needed? People who are doing this every day?
Yeah, it didn't work.
I'm sorry?
It did not work.
Oh, well, we'll get you a new one. So, do you have any working right now?
We have one working right now in the backers.
I can bring you one, I'll bring you one.
Okay.
I have some that I could donate.
Okay.
That sounds excessive to me for cost, but.
I mean, you could get one on, online for $20. It's probably not going to have the lifespan that this does, but comparing to $600, we can buy a lot of those, and if they get misplaced, we can have a spare set.
All right, the next thing is with our new squad, we do not have a pediatric advanced life support kit. We right now rotate back and forth, whichever squad's first out. So if that squad is out, and we get a second call, we don't have one. I approached UH to see if maybe they had one spare that they could give us, because they don't, that's who gave us the first one. They currently have none available.
Do the lines have one?
Our UH is on orders.
Oh,
That's
okay.
why we go through UH for everything. So I did find one online, and for the complete kit, they're expensive too.
That actually doesn't sound too far off.
They're $1,679.99 for the complete kit and everything that goes inside of it. And
So-
it's cheaper to buy it in as a kit than it is to piece everything together.
What all is included in the PALS kit that's different from the regular ACLS kit?
The innovation stuff, well, that should say that.
Because we could always use a regular defibrillator on a child just to adjust the
It has
placement.
the innovation stuff, the Browslow tapes, the medication that's
Already dosed
set-
for
dosed
pediatrics.
pediatrics by the Browslow tape.
And if anyone doesn't know what PALS means, that stands for Pediatric Advanced Cardiac Life Support, to resuscitate a child. I would make a motion to purchase this kit because I think that's an appropriate, I don't think that's price, it's $1,679.99. I don't think that sounds unreasonable, and I would like for you to have that available. So I'll make a motion that we purchase it for that price.
I'll second.
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Yes.
And that's all I currently have to tell you.
Will you be at the station after the meeting? I could drop off both socks. Okay. Anything else from the fire department? All right. So moving on, old business. Any old business? I was going to talk about the training from the state auditor. Maybe we'll just remind everybody in our meetings so we can get everybody done. But please, everybody in the fire department, you can do that as soon as possible. Any other old business to discuss?
We have a county auditor, Matt Kelly, coming and speaking soon.
Yes. I did make a reminder about that in the beginning of the meeting, but yeah. So just another reminder, because it's a great opportunity to speak with Matt Kelly. He's going to be here August 12th at 5 p.m., an hour before the meeting. If anybody would like to come and talk to him about, they're doing some more audits on property values and things, so assessments. So if anyone would like to come and hear his spiel and ask questions, he will be here for that. Any new business? I do have some new business about the webpage because that's been a hot topic today. There has been a lot of confusion about the calendars. Sometimes people think the community calendar had to do with the town hall rental. So I did speak to WSB Marketing. They are the people that, local Deerfield company that got the website back up and running for us a few years ago. I talked to him about making a separate town hall rental tab on the webpage with all of the information about how to rent the webpage, the prices, and also to put a calendar, not to just post who's renting the hall, but just to say if it's been rented or if there's a club that's using it recurringly on those days. So if you wanted to have a party or use the hall, you would be able to quickly glance at that. Although Nancy is the end-all be-all, so you'd have to contact her to make sure you get your reservation made. When I talked to Bruce at WSB Marketing, he agreed to do all of these updates for us for free. Yes. So, and Nancy was on board with the calendar.
So like if you book a wedding and we have the name on, it'll just say reserved.
Right.
Say reserved.
And then it will have a disclaimer about how to rent it because you can't, I think there have been emails saying, hey, we want it, and somebody else had bought it in the process. So just hopefully process continuing to make that website better.
Now, is she gonna have to put that on there? Is she gonna have to notify them, and you're gonna have to notify them every time somebody rents the town hall and tell them it's rented?
No,
Just go on to the calendar and
a
say.
Google Calendar is linked to it, so all she has to do is
Okay.
on her calendar.
Okay.
It's super, and I will help you if you need it, but I have no doubts that it's very user friendly, so. But I promise she is, no peer pressure.
Well, that's her.
That's her baby.
So, yeah.
Well, I know we were having confusion with that, so I'm trying to help make it more clear so it can be a little bit more user friendly for everybody. So we'll try it and see how it works, okay? Any other other new business? And do we have any more people, anyone else signed up for public commentary?
There's no one else on the, oh, we
Can you
do?
put me down, please?
Yes. Is it time for public commentary?
It is time for public
Okay.
commentary.
Can I bring one thing up before we do that? Did we go over the financials tonight? They weren't available, I don't
They weren't
remember.
available last
I don't
time.
remember going over the financials at the
So-
beginning of your meeting.
We can do that now if you'd like, but I thought we could just do that with all the speakers and things. I was going to hold it off to the last meeting. I don't have them with me, but I have looked at them. So,
That's fine.
they weren't forgotten.
Okay, we can wait till the next
But
meeting. I just want to make sure I
thank
get
you for
this.
bringing that up. No, I appreciate that, thank you. Lindsay?
Okay. Are you coming up? I'm
You
gonna
know,
put you
want
on.
to see it over here because I have questions for Scott Pete.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna put you on timer. Ready, go.
All right, so you said that you guys have already formed a committee at the fire department. Was that open to all department members, or did you just pick and choose random people?
I pick and choose.
Okay, so you don't see an issue with favoritism there at all?
No.
All right. You brought up earlier in the meeting that Mr. Kelderhouse works 5 hours every week, and he responded to calls, and that makes him a valuable asset. Do you happen to recall how many hours I worked when I staffed the station?
You work at least 2 shifts a week. You work very valuable too.
I
I'm
work.
not downgrading you.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just making it known. I work a minimum of 18 hours a week. And when Chuck and I used to run together, I was competing with him for a top responder. So,
Yeah, I'm not downgrading that.
so are you saying that a basic EMT is more valuable than a paramedic?
We're not going to go basic versus advanced because all of our people is valuable.
Well, it's a legitimate question.
You're all
because-
valuable.
Because the
You're
reason-
valuable. Everybody's valuable.
The reason I asked is because you have purposely excluded me from the fire department because, let me put this a different way. The board has agreed to put Mr. Kelderhouse on administrative leave, so he's continuing to get paid, so everybody wants to know where all this money is going. Mr. Kelderhouse is continuing to get paid through all of this, so, I mean, of course he wants to dodge notice for everything because he's continuing to get paid for this, which brings me to my next question. How long was the paid administrative leave good for? Because he's still being allowed at the station, he's showing up to calls, he's coming to meetings, and correct me if I'm wrong, shortly after he was suspended from the fire department, he showed up and was made president of the Fire Department Association. Am I correct in saying that?
Okay, if
Am I
fire,
correct in saying that?
I wasn't part of the association then.
It doesn't matter, you were at that meeting.
Absolutely.
And was he voted president of the association while on suspension?
Not by me.
Association has nothing to do.
I was not allowed to vote at that meeting.
Yeah, you're correct, because you tried. So that's my question. How long does the paid administrative leave go on for when there's obviously issues? I'm not there
You have 30
because
seconds,
obviously,
Lindsay.
I'm not there because obviously, a suspension doesn't mean anything, and you're still allowed to run calls and show up to the department. I'm not putting myself in that situation. So that's why I'm not there. So how long does the paid administrative leave last?
Ideally, until the investigation is concluded.
Okay, so we're just gonna keep pushing dates out and continuing to pay for nothing?
So,
I mean, really, that's honestly my question. Because there's been obviously a lot of complaints about township money, as Mr. Gersh has pointed out on several occasions. So there's a big portion of money going to somebody who's allegedly suspended, but still spends quite a bit of time at the department, so.
Do we have any other for residents that want a public commentary? Now is the time. Go ahead. Hold on.
I think the gas station issue's dead.
We keep calling, they keep assuring us we're going to, but it never moves ahead.
It'd be nice
That's-
if you maintain the property, though.
I agree.
So we
He needs to, I'll make a phone call and ask him to have a guy come and brush off. It looks like hell, I'll agree. Right down the circle, looks bad.
It sure does. A couple of places on the circle.
Any other commentary? All right, going once, going twice. So I will make a motion to adjourn the meeting and pay our bills. We don't have those. So I have a motion. Oh, okay. I second it.
Yes.